dilated? Is that dilated? Is this ready for this? Can you push now? Don't push yet. Hold tight. Wait a minute. Wait for me. Wait for me. It's all this is going on in the labor room. But one thing I understand about this, I read about about doctors who deliver babies. They know when is the best time to push. They know when you need to breathe. They know when you need to sit tight. They know when they need to go ahead and rush the delivery. They know all of these things just by what they see on the screens. And don't you know that God knows when it's time for you to push? You may be like, Lord, I'm in pain. I got to get this out of me. But he said, don't push yet. And we get mad and we start questioning God, the one who created us, the one who made us. We start questioning him about our pushing, about our labor. Don't you know how that make a doctor feel if you're in the waiting room, in the labor room, and you're going to tell the doctor how you're going to deliver your baby? And the doctor tell you, I went to school for this. I know what it's happening. I read your charts. I see the baby heartbeat. I see the blood flow. I see what's going on. I need you to hold tight, because if you do the opposite of what I'm telling you to do, this birth can go a whole nother way. And sometimes we add more pressure to ourselves because we get impatient because what we want to do is not our time yet. Do y'all not know there's stuff that I want to do today? There's stuff I want to do last week, and God told me it's not time yet. I said, but God, I'm ready. He said, no, you may be ready, but they not ready. Jesus. Do y'all not know that sometimes you wonder why things in your life is being held up? And you're like, Lord, I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm believing, I'm trusting, I'm doing what you told me to do. But he said, but your household not ready for what you're praying for. Because if I bring what you're praying for in this household, it's going to confuse them. They're going to misuse it. They're going to mistreat it. And then it won't be there that long, because when I have for you, everybody got to be in order. In that room, every doctor, every nurse, every assistant that's in that room, in that labor room, has a special assignment. The nurse is not telling you what the doctor don't want her to tell you. That nurse has a role in that room. That nurse has an assignment in that room. And sometimes we looking at the wrong people for the answers. Because see, not all the time doctors are nice. Sometimes doctors have real bad bedside manners. But that nurse be real sweet and nice. I want to see what she got to say, but she's not the doctor. She assists the doctor. She may be sweet and nice, but if she tell you something that the doctor didn't tell you, she can hinder the process, being nice and all. And sometimes God has to come to you in a way to get your attention. Sometimes the way God talks, sometimes we don't like it when God tells us to be quiet. And you know you have a right to defend yourself. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to talk back? You wanted to explain yourself because you knew you was in the right, and God told you, don't say nothing, I'm going to fight your battle? I've been there. Miss Johnson, I know you've been there. I said Miss Johnson for a reason. Those who know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we feel like we have to let people explain people why we did what we did. We spend more time explaining than we do trusting. Jesus. Let me say it again, Crystal. Sometimes we spend more time explaining to people than we do trusting God. If God told you to do it, do it. Don't you have to explain to the world why God did what God said, why God made you move in this direction, why God told you not to answer that phone call. We explain, well, the reason why I didn't answer is because really I was in my prayer time. I didn't answer the telephone. I will call you back. What's going on? You must be busy. I'm going to call you back. But we have to explain to people what God is telling us to do. And while you explain to God and saying, I'm trying to tell you something, but you're trying to tell them why you're not ready to talk. And we missing it. It says here, you won't know how labor and childbirth will unfold until it happens. Let me tell you something. Doctors can prepare for 9 months. Tell you everything about your baby. But they can't tell you how the baby going to come out until it's time. They can tell you for a whole 9 months, oh, the baby doing good. Everything is great. This is awesome. Oh, man, this is great. The baby breathing fine. Everything's going great. And then doing labor, it's like, uh-oh, we got a problem. What's wrong? And sometimes they don't even tell the mother what's going on because they want the mother to focus on what she needs to be doing, and that's delivering that baby, right? It's the doctor's job to fix what they don't know. What's wrong with my baby? Don't worry about it. You just keep pushing. But Lord, they called me and they said they coming today. Don't worry about that. You just keep praying. But God, they put the note on the door. They said, I got 30 days to get out. Don't worry about that. You just keep worshiping. You keep praying. But God, they said next week they laying off. You keep showing up. But God, if I get fired, if I get laid off, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Don't worry about that. I need you to keep showing up. Sometimes God is telling us to keep showing up, to keep praying, and we worrying about what somebody else said. God said, I got the hard stuff. The doctor said, tells the nurse, this is what's going on. I need you to keep the mother calm. The mother don't need to know that what's going on with the child, because if she knows, it's going to hinder the childbirth process. The doctor said, all I need to do is get the baby out, but I need the mother's help. But if the mother knows, the mother is going to begin to go into mommy mode immediately, and she's going to want to try to do more to help the doctors push this baby out, when that's not her job right now. Her job is to push and breathe and to count and do all the stuff that they do in labor room. You know, I don't know. What I've been told, what I've heard, what I've seen. But this is going on in the labor room. That's why it's so important to know that sometimes in your laboring stage, it's so much going on. And sometimes it can get confused if you listen to the wrong voices. I've seen on TV where they're in this room, mother's pushing, and you got the father at the head and rubbing the mom's head and says it's gonna be okay, and she pushed him out the way, tell him move, and the doctor said it's okay, it's not towards you. You just keep encouraging her, and the nurse is saying you're doing good, and then the husband or the boyfriend, whatever, baby dad trying to encourage her too, and the mama mad, and this is going on, all this stuff is going on, and the whole time the doctor is standing there looking at the charts. Okay, go ahead and push down. I'm like, you making all the money, you may want to get down there and do something. It's not his time yet. He like, my time don't come until I see the head. And because I don't see the head, I got to watch this. And so we're afraid because while we're waiting on God to move, God said, don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing. I know my job. But we want to tell God what his job is. But God, I think it's time. God said, no, I'm watching. It's not time yet. It's not time yet. But Lord, I feel something. Yeah, you may feel something, but I don't see it. So you keep on. And when I see it, I'll step in. And see, we want God to step in when it's not time. God has said, I already know the outcome. I'm just waiting on the results. What are the results in the labor room? Can you push when it hurts? Can you push when no one's talking? Can you push when it don't feel good? How many of y'all can say, Lord, I can keep pushing even when I'm uncomfortable? Laboring is uncomfortable. Labor is pain. Labor hurts. It hurts. But why is it that we love to get the easy way out when things in our life ain't going good? Rather than praying, we want God to just take it away. You know, sometimes God leaves something there as a reminder so you can keep praying. We want God to take it away, and God said, no, if I take it away, you're going to get off your knees. If I take it away, your prayer is going to get shortened. Let's be honest. If everybody here had everything they wanted, you would miss church more. You wouldn't pray as much. If you had everything you ever desired, a lot of us would not come every Sunday. Some of y'all would be like, I'm going to just send my tithes. They'd be all right. But guess what, though? Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell you a little secret. You sending them keeps the church active, but it don't keep your spiritual life active. See, we get excited because we send them, but you don't go. Ooh, am I stepping on somebody's toes? If I send it, the pastor going to be happy. But is God going to be happy? Because guess what? There is things that God can do that I can never do. There is places God can take you that I can never get you in. I can never take you. That's why it's so vital and important to have an active life in Christ. Because if you don't, you will miss every assignment that God has for you. It takes more than just sending. Sometimes it takes effort. It takes some results. It takes you getting up sometime, coming when you don't feel like. Let me tell y'all something. I'm the pastor, and sometimes I might not feel like coming, but guess what? I come anyway. You know, when I get here, I get so excited when I see Agent face. I get excited when I see Crystal face, when I see Temple face. I get so excited. I get excited when I see the media team working and they get stuff in here. I get excited. It brings about a joy on the inside. When I look out the door and I see security walking around to protect the parking lot, I'm like, Lord, I'm excited. I'm happy that I got up. I'm happy that I put my clothes. I'm happy that I came to be amongst people who are trying to get to the same place I'm trying to get to. It's something about being in a room with like-minded people. It's something about being connected to people who are trying to go to the same place that you're going to. That's why it's so important that whoever you bring in the labor room, it's important. Pastor Kim will tell you, she's been in a couple of labor rooms before. Let me tell you this right here. When you invite people into your room, when you invite people into that process, you got to be very careful. Because that person can cause problems or it can help. You got to be very careful who you have on the side of the bed with you telling you to push. Because just because people are telling you to push the shell does not mean it's your time to push. You got to have people connect to you that knows when it's time for you to push. Because if you don't, you will find yourself having premature babies, having premature blessings. And sometimes they may come and they may look good, but it may be premature. And you be like, yes, God did it again. And then it's gone because you wasn't ready for it. God has blessed me before beyond my thinking, and it was gone like this because I wasn't ready. Because I asked for something that I wasn't ready for, and rather than waiting on God, I went down and I did what I wanted to do, and I wind up messing up. Let me tell you something real quick before I close, before I end this out here. Do you not know you can have good credit, have the money to go get the dream car you want? You say, I don't need God for that. Go down there, I got good credit, I got the job, I'm going to go get the car I want. You go down there and get it. God said, no, you shouldn't get that yet. No, God, but I work hard for it. I do this, I'm going to go and get it. And he said, no, not yet. Just wait a second. I got something. Like, don't worry, don't get it yet. No, I'm going to get it because I want it. And you go down there and you get it. And as soon as you drive a couple of months, stuff just start messing up on it. And everything you work hard for now has to go into this to fix it. And God said, if you had to just waited, another one was coming that was a whole lot better shape than the one that you say you wanted. But you couldn't wait because you wanted it now. You know that J.G. Whitworth commercial where it said, it's mine, it's my money, and I want it now. Sometimes that's how we are. We are a microwave generation. We want to go and rather than cooking it on the stove like grandmama used to do, put in the oven, put in that crock pot, that slow cooker. It's something about putting food in a slow cooker. It just tastes so much better. And we don't like that. We want our stuff to come right now. We can't wait until God just massages it and God fixes it up so when he hands it to us, we are ready for it. I wanted to encourage y'all today to let y'all know that when God calls you in the waiting room, in the labor room, I want y'all to go in pushing, go in fighting, saying when I leave out of here today, I'm leaving out of here with the very thing that I came here to get. And today, I admonish every one of you to get a mindset to say that no matter what I'm faced with, if I make it to the labor room, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver if I get back there. If God allows me to make it there, you best believe when I come out, I'm going to deliver. Is there anybody today that says, Pastor T, I'm ready to to deliver. I've been expecting, some of y'all have been expecting for years. Some of y'all are overdue. God said you weren't supposed to go through this long. This shouldn't have been your 3-year, 4-year journey. God has said you are overdue for a delivery. Is there one today that said, I am overdue and today I want to deliver? I want to push through. I want to push through my setbacks. I want to push through what people said I couldn't do. Katrina, there was people that told me that I couldn't stand up here and pastor. There is people in this room, LaShawn, that said he would never preach or talk with any type of vocabulary where people can understand. Look at Sean now, an elder. Not to call nobody out, but my brother ain't supposed to be on no keyboard. If y'all knew his story, he came in the world unresponsive. He came in the world where my parents were told by doctors that he would never walk, talk, or even make it. And not only is he's responsive, but you can sing a song he never heard of. And within a few seconds he'll play it like he heard it. And let me tell you this right here. We'll close it down. Is that when he was born, my dad said he went into the room, to the chapel in the hospital. He knew God. My grandfather was a pastor, so he knew. He said he went in the room in the chapel. He said he couldn't think of no fancy prayers. He said, Lord, save my son. He had been on this earth for almost 14 days and never urinated on his own. Never ate with his mouth. Nothing. Before my dad got to the parking lot, the doctors ran behind him and said, you need to come back. Your son just urinated on his own. The same one who can sing, play, crack jokes, got a job, got a wife, got his own car, got his own place. The one that they said wouldn't make it. This must be Testimony Sunday, because I'm going to tell y'all something else. Let me tell y'all why I give God so much praise. I remember I couldn't even tell this testimony without shedding a tear. But I remember a few years ago, I was sitting in church, and my dad was having a heart attack, and nobody even knew. Wasn't even preaching that Sunday. Looked at him, his whole entire shirt was soaking wet. He was scheduled to go to a 3 o'clock program to speak. And I remember I went in the room and I said, no, Dad, I'm taking you to the hospital. He said, no, I'm going to go to this church first, and then I want you to take you to the hospital. And I said, okay, you promise? He said, I promise. And then I just couldn't shake it. And I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I got to make a call. I said, and I don't want to be out of order, but Dad can't go preach today. I said, I'm taking him to the hospital. And she said, son, I stand beside you. She said, if you say he need to go, you go take him. And I went in the office. I said, Dad, don't get mad at me. But we've already told the other church you're not coming. I said, I'm taking him to the doctor. He looked at me weak and said, okay. I had to physically almost carry him to the car. I drove to the nearest hospital. And they pulled up. I said, Dad, wait right here. I'm going to go and get a wheelchair. I walked in the emergency room. I said, look, y'all, my dad, I think he's having a heart attack. Before I could even get the doctors, my dad was coming in through the door, leaning on the wall, almost crawling. They rushed and grabbed and hooked onto the machines. And they said to me, I don't think he's going to make it. They said, we got to do something, and we got to do it quickly. They rushed him to a room in the hospital, y'all, about half the size of this room. Never in my life seen a room this big before. Had machines and monitors that I told me. They said, you can sit over here in the corner. They said, but what we about to do, we about to stop your daddy's heart. It's pumping so fast that he is leaving here and he don't even know it. They said, you can either stay here or you can wait in the hallway. I said, no, I know my faith. I got to be in here because I got to pray. And I sat in that room, and they began to take my daddy's shirt off. And they handed it to me, y'all, and I'm not exaggerating. The shirt was almost dripping wet. He hadn't ran or did anything. He laid on that bed. There was about 8 doctors. Every organ doctor that was in that hospital was called in. You can hear it over the hospital. They're calling all kind of codes. Every doctor ran in this room. It was like a war room. He's laying on this huge bed. They had people from his head to his toe. They had patches and stuff all over him. They had machines. And they told me that what we're about to do, we can't promise you if he's going to come back. And I looked at the machine. They cut it down so he couldn't hear it. And they said, Mr. Crockett, are you ready? He said, yeah, I'm ready. They stopped his heart. And the machine flatlined. And I sat there. They said it was about 3 seconds. I thought it was 30 minutes. And I heard the machine go, doop. That was the most beautiful sound I have ever heard in my entire life. And it did it again. And it kept doing it. And it kept doing it. And before you know it, they said, okay, now we're going to transport your dad to ICU. We're going to prepare the room in ICU for him. While they was preparing the room in ICU, the doctor came back and the doctor said, wait a minute. You're getting better. We're going to put you in a regular room. We're going to cancel the ICU room. They're getting a regular room together. The doctor came back and they said, wait a minute. Your heart beating better than mine. They said, sit here for a second. And they came back in 10 minutes and said, look, man, we even read in charge, we did this. They said, your heart beat like it ain't never had a heart attack, like it nothing ever happened. They said, we're going to do something that this hospital has never done before. Nobody goes home from this room. They said, if people go home from this room, it's either in a bag to the morgue. And this is the highest level room in the hospital, to your own car, to your own house. That was about 6 years ago. Ask him if he's still living. Tell me if I'm not going to go see him in a little bit. Tell me if he ain't driving by himself. Ain't nobody feeding him. Ain't nobody washing him. I can call him right now. He'll answer the telephone and talk to me. If I call him right now, he'll think something wrong because he know I'm in church. But that's the kind of God we serve. Is that God can take you from the worst possible situation and put you in position that doctors can't even explain. V, you don't even know the level or levels that God wants to take you to. It's not by happenstance, it's not by accident that you linked up with Kim a few years ago and then made Faith Believers your home. God had stuck in the garage. because a rodent decided he wanted to get under my hood and eat one of my wires that go to my computer in my car. I got nervous. I said, Kim, the extra money we just got for to go out the door. Total opposite of temple, and I'm the pastor.